Hey gang, welcome back. So this is going to be the first episode of the road to building a game. I do like pet collector games. I like some other games as well that are off platform, but the pet collector game genre is attractive because it allows you to keep something digital and display something digital to your friends, and generally just doesn't take a lot of work. You can play it in the background for a lot of things, and so just works out for me. So being a computer scientist, I am interested in how things work, and I just saw this as an opportunity to not only learn event-based programming, because I'm an old kind of structured guy writing in C and C++, so but also to learn Lua. And learn a little bit about what goes on underneath the covers in Roblox Studio. So this first video will be basically creating a game similar to a lot of the pet collection games out there. So the clicker simulators, the pet sim and all of its derivatives and ripoffs, and mining simulator, everything else where you're just collecting stuff. And the pets are generally just doing the work for you. So let's just take a look at what is available out there. So of course you have the very familiar Pet Simulator for those that played Pet Simulator with me, which might have drove you to take a look at this video. Since I seem to do a lot of giveaways on that. So Pet Simulator has gone through 3 different iterations, 1, 2, and X, or 10, or however you say it. And the menu system is actually quite good. What we're going to do in this video will work your way towards that, but a lot of making a menu look good is having a good artist, so of which I am not. So we're going to create, one of my goals is to not have you download anything, not rely on anybody else's code. What we're going to do is try to create a menu system for this first video that you can basically go to an egg, get a pop-up menu, populate it with pets. To make that look good, it's really takes some thought on UI layout, what works for you, and what you want in your game, and an artist. Maybe we'll get to that point of making menus look good at the end, but this is going to be code mostly. The next one, I got a few examples, everything from collect all pets to rebirth to mineral collecting, all sorts of different menus, and you can see there's quite a number of different looks. Some of them seem to work better than others. Some of them are more intuitive, others. Some of them are kind of complicated, and some of them are very simple. But they do have a lot of stuff that's in common. So what I'm showing you here is the inventory systems. But the egg systems tend to look, there are stylistic differences, right? For the egg system, you need a pop-up menu when you approach the egg, and that user interface displays possibly the egg name, the pets that are in it, the chances, maybe some mystery chances, or doesn't display things for games that have secret pets, but it basically just populates the pet windows. You can populate those windows with decals, like you take a picture and populate it with a decal, or you can populate it with a camera view of the pet in question. So we'll do the camera view in here, just because, not that I think it looks better, I think actually the little decals look better, but it just takes more work. And we are going to use very, very simple pets, and our pets are going to be super simple, like they're going to be cubes. And the reason we're going to do that is because I don't want anyone dependent on downloading any content or buying any pets or whatever. So, and you just have to fiddle with the pets. So we're going to create cubes, 2 different cubes with 2 different colors. So they're different by size and color to give us 4 different cubes. Those will be our pets, and in doing so, we'll see what those pets critical items for those pets are, and we'll basically see how to set up modularized code so that you can just create new pets and create a new table. And in the end, what we'll have is you'll have a list of pets, models that are all structured the same. Information about those pets is going to be populated in future videos. It will be populated by code. So the pets will have some complex characteristics, like we might put unique IDs in there. We will certainly put unique strengths out of a range that will all be controlled through like a modularized egg system. So in order to do this, the first video here is going to be 2 eggs, which are just going to be spheres, because we're not going to deal with models. That way you'll be able, if you download your models, you'll be able to see what is needed, the critical items that are needed in those models that you might have to add. And the same for pets. So 4 pets, 2 eggs, and a UI system that basically calls hatch egg in the most simplest manner. And for this first video, we're not even hatching the egg, we're just printing it out. It will be plenty of code, and this video is going to be pretty long. So let's jump into it. So first off, I want to acknowledge where the sources come from. So I've looked all over the place, and it's hard to keep track where you've noticed stuff. But the big shout out goes to the agent pet system. A lot of the structure comes there. I've changed some things, and I think I was working from an older version as well, as compared to the newer version. But when I was going through, or when you're going through other people's code, you tend to find it difficult to debug things that are going on, and in this system I found that to be true, and so I want to kind of just build it from scratch, but in doing so, some of those ideas, particularly the structure, and some of the code interaction, definitely come from that. And so if you just want to jump out to the agent pet system, I get the link in the video. You can just go out and look it and try to use it if you want. If you kind of need more of a deeper understanding to modify and fiddle with things, then continue watching. We're going to create 2 different eggs, and these eggs are just going to be simple. We're not going to actually model an egg. This isn't modeling, this is coding. So in order to do that, let's drop back into the editor, and we're going to insert some models. So for the eggs, I'm just going to use spheres. So we'll have 1 sphere here, and this sphere is just going to be that little round sphere, and we'll make a bigger one. But the first thing I want to do is I want to take another part. This could be a sphere or a block. I'm just going to use a block. And we are going to take this block and insert it inside of the other. So we want this completely gone, so I'm going to insert in there, scale it back down so that we can't see it anywhere. Ideally this would be center. I'm not sure it really matters in this little tutorial, but we definitely want it to be inside. And so now we have this these 2 parts, and we want to go into base plate, and we want to create a model. And so we're going to insert a model here. This model is going to be named sphere, or let's name it egg. Sorry, egg. And we're going to take this part, put it in there. This part, put it in there. Both of these parts, we're going to anchor them, and for this part we're going to name it UI anchor. And I think that is it. And so we're going to duplicate this on Mac, this Command D, And on this egg, let's scale it up to something a little bit bigger. And we're just going to call this other pig, I guess. And this is just so that we're gonna have two different menus, because we want to be able to test that two menus actually work, and that they can populate. So now, let's go ahead and move this over so that we have two. And get them far away so that we can go through and test. So we have egg, another egg, and so that is going to be the entirety of our pets right there, or our eggs right there. So the eggs are going to stay inside of here for right now. Now let's go ahead, and since we don't want to crowd our world and workspace, so I'm going to go ahead and create a folder here called eggs. And we will take both of these eggs here and move them into eggs. And that's going to be our very simple eggs. Not a real game. You take your models and you put them in there, and you make them look pretty, and there'll be many parts, right? But the idea here is that you have a model, you have some parts, and we're going to use this UI anchor later, so we want that there. And we have both of those there. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go down and start creating a starter GUI. Okay, so let's do the Papa GUI for the eggs. So we're going to go to Starter GUI, and inside of Starter GUI, we're going to create a Screen GUI. We'll just leave that the way it's named right now. And then inside of Screen GUI, we're going to create a frame. So this frame, we are going to set this relative. So we need to go in and set the size. And in here we want it to just be a big. This is actually going to be invisible, so but we're going to use it to basically turn on and off all the GUIs inside it. So it's, if you look at the position, it's set up as relative right now. So we're going to make it bigger, and I'm not here to make it perfect today, but you can get an idea of what it's going to look like right there, right? And we also, for this particular thing, we want the anchor to be in the middle, so we're not scaling over to the side. So the anchor point in here should be 0.5 and 0.5. So we want it in the middle like that. It's not quite in the middle. I guess we could set up here 0.5 and the same 0.5. Get it clearly in the middle. And we want this to be invisible. So we're just going to, don't need to change color or anything. We're just going to make it invisible. So that might be about the right size. We'll make it a little bigger. But I think that's probably pretty good. So inside of there, we are going to create another item, and this is going to be an image label. So inside of the frame, we're going to create an image label. And this one we are going to end up calling later, so we're going to name this Pets Frame. So this particular image label is going to be an outline of the menu. So if you can imagine, you walk up to the egg and this menu pops up,
and we're gonna have a list of pets in there, and then maybe some buttons under here, and the way I have it planned out, we're gonna have a cost over here, but this is gonna be it. So what we want to do inside of here is this giant, white box doesn't look all that great, and even if you go in and change it to some other color, right, nothing is really happening as the background color. So because this is meant to be an image, so we're going to create an image for that to be in there. So I know that I started out doing this, is that, I'm going to make a big square background, so I want a square image, but that's not what you actually want. What you would like to have is, so here's my square image. By the way, I got Warren banned from Roblox for this inappropriate image, which is funny. But what we would like is something circular, and it's because we want these round edges. And this, if we do a circle, there's a way in Roblox to divide that up, and you can just basically tile or split circles all the way across this thing, and it will give you the circular edges. So I have in here, I have a circle, and let's see, it looks like that. So I have that white circle, and then I have a couple of other ones. But basically what you want to do is you want to create a white circle. I think I did 60 by 60 on mine, experiment around, and then you want to export that as a PNG. So if you export it as a PNG, you then go to the web, you log into your account, the same one that you're using for Roblox Studio, go to create, and then you're going to go to decals, and you're going to upload that white circle. It has to be white, to decals and create. And when you do that, you'll name it, and you'll get something like this. So I've had a couple different trials here: a white circle, blurred circle, fine circle. So if you go to this fine circle, you can't really see it because it's white on white background. I probably can make that dark, but it really doesn't matter. You made it, you know what it looks like, and you're going to grab this number. So that's your Roblox asset ID, and that's the image that's going to replace this. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to completely transparent. Then we're going to go down to this image holder. We're going to put that ID in. And you can see that it makes a circle, and we have transparent edges. So, but we don't want a circle, we want a square with round corners. So this box is already square, so we're going to fill it up with little circles, or divided out circles. So we're going to change this to slice, and I just experimented around with this. We're going to change it to 200s all the way across, 4 of them separated by commas, and then 0.08. And you get this white circle now with rounded edges. The beauty of having a white circle is if it's white, you can change its color. So we can change the image color to a blue. And this is going to be a background for our GUI. Now, in a real GUI, you would probably have your artist or go to Fiverr or whatever and buy a GUI pack that would have, things like these menus, and the backgrounds for these menus and the icons and everything. But in this particular video, I didn't want to have to say, oh, well, I went out and bought this, or I went out and downloaded this special thing. I wanted to show a way that you could just do it in Roblox. So it doesn't come out quite as good. It's not going to be Pet Simulator X looking, but you'll notice that a lot of these menus look a whole lot like some of the other games. So what we have back here now, if you look at some of the other games, this kind of looks, I don't know, it looks plain. So just like if you're doing PowerPoint or whatever, right, it looks better if you put a shadow in it. Fortunately, there's no real shadow function. But what you can do is inside the pets frame, you can create another image label. And we're going to make this exactly the same size as this one, like that. And we're going to call this shadow. And we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to take the transparency, turn it completely transparent. We're going to put that circle in again. We're going to do a slice. And we're going to do 200s. That's 4 times, separated by commas. And we're going to do 0.08. And then we're going to change the color to something darker. Let's do, I don't know, maybe that color. Or maybe let's do a darker blue. Alright, so we got that. So now we have this, and we can make a little shadow. Now the problem now is that since Pets Frame or Shadow is a child of Pets Frame, Shadow will end up on top. It used to be that you could just go in and change the Z index to Shadow to 10, and go into Pets Frame and change this to 20, and that would pull it on top, because higher number would pull it forward. Remember, in Roblox, Z is front and back, so that would pull it forward. The problem is that there's a default setting in the GUIs that overrides that. So in here somewhere, and I never really remember where this is. I don't know. I can't remember if it's in the frame or possibly in the screen GUI. Yeah, Z-index behavior. You want to change that from sibling, which is the child-parent relationship, to global. And if you do that, now you can have children that are behind parents. It makes sense. Shadow is really a part of Pets Frame from an object management point of view. It should probably be a child. So just change that to global, and you'll get the shadow. Now, what we would like inside of here is we're going to create 6 pet slots down in here, and then a label at the top. Right. So for the pet slots, we're going to go in, and the same thing. We're going to create an image label. And in that image label, we're just going to call that slot. And this pulled the Z index out front, so we're going to do that for 30. Makes it easier to manage here. And inside of slot, so these are going to be, when we tile out our pets, these are going to be the backgrounds for them. It won't only be the backgrounds, but it'll be the frames that they go in. So inside a slot, we're going to have a viewpoint frame inside a slot, and the Z index for the viewpoint frame, since that will be a pet, I'm just going to call that 100. We always want that in front. There's no reason for that to be hidden. And we're going to make the viewpoint frame the background transparency to 1, so that it's clear, and that way eventually when we get the pets to show up in there, it will have, you'll see the background from the slot behind it. Now, since I don't want to go do this later, so for right now, each slot is going to display not only a pet, it's going to display the rarity and the percent. So what I mean by rarity is typical, pet game rarities. So common, uncommon, legendary, mythical, right? Whatever they happen to be, right? It's your game, you get to make it, right? So, but The percent is going to be a text label. Rarity is also going to be a text label. So we need to insert 2 text labels here. So that's one. You can just duplicate that, but just easy to do that. And for this text label, let's say we're gonna call this rarity. And the rarity, we're gonna change the Z index on that to 110 because it's going to be in front of anything like the pet. And we're going to put this at the bottom, and it's going to be kind of small, but it's basically just going to say rare or mythical or whatever at the bottom. And so inside of that, you can play around with whatever font you want, but one thing that you definitely want to do is scale your text so that it fills up the box. And you can pick whatever font you want. So I'm going to use Fredoka 1, I guess. And I also, since I'm going to color that image background, I'm going to go ahead and set the text color right here to white, which makes it nothing at the moment, but you'll see it come through in a sec. And for this one, this is going to be the percent. And this is your actual chances. So you can scale that up and put it in whatever corner you want to put it in. Change the Z index. Jason. Let's see. Where the white eye was it? There it is. Rarity, percentage. I'm going to do that at 110. And it's going to stick up in that, somewhere in that box. Let's actually put it in, I don't know, this corner. So just like the other one, I'm going to change that to the same font. You can choose whatever font that you want. But I am going to scale it out to this, however big it is, and then I want this white as well. Just going to make it disappear for a second. And then this viewpoint frame, we're going to do the same thing we did before, right? Which is, this is, or not in the viewpoint frame, in the slot. The viewpoint frame is clear. In the slot, which is an image label, because an image label, we're going to put the image in it. And that's going to be a circle. And we're going to change that circle to, I don't know, let's sample the background color, right? And so now we have that. We're gonna slice it up, and same thing, 200 and 0.08, and you'll end up with this box. So these actually need to be transparent on the background. We didn't do that yet. So, and then this one needs to be transparent on this background. Why am I missing it? I'm probably going over it several times. Oh, it's the text label. Yeah, that's right. Transparent background. There we go. So now you can see that coming through, and lo and behold, I even forgot to set the transparency on that one to 0. So we don't want any backgrounds, right? So now if you look at that, right, you can see, oh, our percentage is going to be up here in the corner, and then this one will be here. We'll fill that in programmatically later, right? What we want is we want these kind of tile works to go across. I'm thinking that 100 by 100 might be alright. I guess we can leave it like that for right now. So this slot, and we're gonna have 6 of these, right? So we're gonna duplicate that entire thing, which is Command D. And then we want to, I don't think you can actually do it that way, but Oh, there we go. Middle, and then Command D again, like that. Doesn't quite look right. You have to play around with it and get it the way you like. I think those boxes might need to be a little bit bigger. Oh, maybe just like that. And then duplicate those again and slide them down like that. Oh, just like that. So it's not here for aesthetics, right? We're just learning how to do this. So now we have all of these, and they're sitting there, and the labels are sitting in there. So the problem with leaving it labeled label is that if you have an egg that has less than 6 pets, that label is going to stick there. So unfortunately, I should have probably done this before, but we're going to go in and we're going to set the text labels to nothing. So instead of label here, it's just going to be nothing. And we're going to go and do nothing. And we're going to do that for all of these. Nothing. 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 Probably should have thought of that beforehand. But this is probably easier than redoing everything. Alright, that was moderately awful. On top of that, we're going to later index these by name, so they can't all just be named slot. So we're going to have to actually change these, so we're going to go in and rename this. It might be easier to just do it here. So slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, and slot 6. Now later on, in following videos, we're going to make a pet inventory, and you can do it by slots, but you're probably going to want to fill those out programmatically. But for right now, we're just going to always have 6 slots. So if you go look at some games, you can get rid of these backgrounds, make it the same color, whatever you want to do, and then just have the pets floating around in there. And maybe turn on an outline for the box or something if you want them in boxes. But right now, we're just working on this programmatically, so not too concerned about aesthetics, just trying to show you how to set up things. So on top of here, we're going to want something in here as well for the label. So the pets are going to be in these 6 boxes, but we want a label, so like little egg or big egg or whatever, right? So Colorado's really cool egg. So I'm gonna make another box for a label, and it's largely the same. I'm not gonna put this in pets frame because I want to be able to. I know we have shadow in there, but I think what I'm going to do later is iterate through everything in the slots. So I don't want to put a bunch of stuff in there or inside of the pet frame, because I'm going to do a for loop in the pet frame. So we're going to do this right above, but it's still going to be an image label. The image label is going to go over here, and it's going to be, I don't know, this something like this, and it's going to crazily have the same image in the background. It's not showing up because we need a z-index again, and we would need to do a lot of rinse and repeat here. We're making this transparent, and then we're tiling this thing out or slicing it out. It always seems like a tile to me. But we're slicing it out, and we're doing 200, 200, 200, 200, and we're doing 0.08, and that makes a little round label in there, and then we're going to color it, and we're going to pick the same color as last time, and voila. So now we have what the pets are going to show up in. So now we move on to the next thing. Alright, so if we're thinking through what's going to happen here is we have the display of what's offered in the eggs. So in this top part here is going to be the egg name, and here is going to be the pets that are offered in the egg. But we need to tell the user what to do. And it's common to use the ERT method in this, which is E's by 1, R's by 3, T's auto. You see that in a lot of games. Or you could have other buttons like by 1, by 3, auto, but whatever, right? We need to tell the user what to do. So this is not part of the pets frame, though it's going to display when we walk up to the egg. So it still needs to be in the frame for the screen GUI. So, but here is, we want buttons. Buttons are nice because they already have things that will be very useful to us. So we're going to create a image button. So the image button, we're going to rinse and repeat, very similar to what we did last time. Is we're going to maybe put it down like right. We'll put it under each of those, I guess. So we're going to add the same little white circle that we did before. And we're going to have a background transparency 1, which makes it a circle. We want the background color to be the same color as the other deal. Actually, let's do this color for not background color. Jason. It is image color. So we did a white circle on purpose because we can programmatically change that, or at least through settings or programmatic. And we're going to rinse and repeat a lot of the stuff the same we did before, right? It's slicing this thing out, and then to make it look kind of uniform, let's make a shadow. And so the shadow is going to be an image label, not a button label, because so inside of the button label we're going to create an image label, and this is just going to be, I don't think we'll ever index it, or reference it, so we'll just leave it index image label. We want this to be behind the other one. But we'll do that after we get it all colored out. So the same image, the image color this time is the shadow color, right? And we're gonna slice it out 200. You guys ought to be professionals of this at the end. I don't even need to look at my notes for this anymore. So, and background color, it doesn't matter because we're going to make it clear, and then the z-index for the background is going to be 10, and the z-index for the image is going to be, I don't know, it's 30, right? Oh, hold on. We need to grab a hold of that thing first. So let's make this 100 right quick. Grab a hold of it, and we're going to shuffle it to make a shadow, maybe like right there. And then let's set it back to 10 again. So now we have a shadow. And so inside of this button, we want the key to press, and basically what it does. So those are going to be text labels again. So we add a text label, add another text label, and I don't think we'll reference these either, so I'm going to be lazy about it and keep them there. We do want them on top though, so let's set this to 50, and we're going to make, let's pull this one down here, we're going to make it small. So this is going to be what it's does. So it's going to be like, I don't know, open one, right? So we're going to change the font again to the same thing that we've been using. We're going to scale the font. We're going to turn the font white. And we're going to set the background color or transparency to, where'd you go, I saw you, 1. Right, so now we have this label here. So I'm just going to go ahead in that label, and we're not going to change this button. We're going to duplicate this thing, but we're just going to say open 1. So that's what it will look like. Now let's go to this one. So this is going to be the button that we press. So for this one, it's going to be E. And we're going to change the font the same way we did before. We're going to scale the text. We're going to change our Z index so that it's way out in front. And we're going to make a big E, right? Let's tell the user, hey, if you hit E, you will get 1 pet, right? Open, you're going to get 1 egg. Of course, right, that looks kind of clunky, and it's because we have yet to make the background transparent, right? And we did, to keep with the theme here. No, we're not going for aesthetics, but we'll make it look like that. So basically, open is kind of sticking down a little bit. It's getting kind of nitpicky. You would be nitpicky in your actual game, right? But so you end up like this. And to make this easy, we are, let's name this button by, or maybe button E. All right, and so if we do that, we can now duplicate it, and nope. All right. Let's do this. Let's scoot it over. Okay. What is this one? We might just be able to do this numerically, make it better. So slot 2 is this number here. Let me copy that. We actually want only this first part for the position. So for this button E, we want this part for the position. Well, that didn't work out well. Oh, it's because it's relative position to the frame and not the inside. So, all right. Should have duplicated this out before, maybe. There it is. Haha. Got it. Duplicate it again. Okay. That was a monkey in a football. So we get 3 button E's, but of course we don't want this to be button E. We want this to be button T, or R for this one, and then T for that one. We need to go into the image label, the text labels inside of that, and we need to change what it actually says. So this is going to be auto, and this text label is going to be T, and for button R we're going to go into text label for button R. We pick the letter one, so this will be R, and the text label will be open 3. So when we're going to create scripts for this, when you click on it or hit the key. So for right now, I'm just going to stick a script in here, and we're going to leave it empty for the moment. It's going to be a local script, and it's going to be called by, and that script, we're going to duplicate that twice because we're going to put that in button R and in button T. Right? So now we have it all set up, right? So not scripting yet, right? But our GUI is starting to look like a GUI. Okay, so now we just need to add a label on here for how much maybe this egg costs. So you can put it up here at the top. I'm going to put it out to the side. So it's going to be a lot of the same process as before. So we're going to create an image label. This thing isn't clickable or anything, so it's just a display. So inside a frame, let's create another image label. And this image label, I got 2. So this one here is going to be, let's call this cost label. And since this is going to get confusing, let's go ahead and name our little egg label something like egg label. Alright, so we're going to take this particular cost label, we're going to stick it down here, maybe even with these, stick it out to the side, do a lot of the same things that we did before. Should be pretty familiar. We're going to put the same image ID in this thing, cost label, image ID is going to be that, and let's go ahead and make it the right color. I'm not going to stretch it, we're going to slice it, and it's going to be 200s again. And then it's going to be 0.08. And then we get this cool image label. Oh, we need the background. So background transparency to 1, which sets it transparent. So this is nice and pretty, but we want it to look like the other one. So let's duplicate that thing, put that thing inside of here, and call that shadow. And I guess it will look like that, and we'll change the color from the light blue to the dark blue, Should really probably just save this color, but we can just sample it. And okay, and then we're going to put the shadows z-index of 10 and the labels z-index of 30. And so we end up with something very similar to what we had before. So I want to put a money in there. So like you could have like Robux, you could have different coins, gold and silver and bronze or whatever. And so eggs may cost different. So we're just going to put inside of there, we're just going to put an image for the currency. And oddly enough, that is going to be yet another image label. So inside a cost label, we're going to create an image label. And that image label, we're going to bring it out front with a z-index of, let's say, 50 this time. So it's nice in front. And in here, I just create, let's go ahead and close this one. I created a circle with a $sign in it, save it as a PNG. That circle with $sign PNG ends up in create, and it is in decals, and I just called it money. So it is a circle, but it's a white background, right? It's a circle with $sign in it. So I'm going to copy that image, and I'm going to put that inside of the currency image, and I'm going to name this currency image. And inside the currency image, we're going to put that inside of the placeholder. We're going to make the background clear, so it's a circle. We don't want it white. We're going to make it some kind of gold color, maybe like that. Okay, it's kind of janky, but you get the idea. And maybe make this a little bit smaller. And then maybe like that. So it's going to cost gold coins, right? And then we're going to put a cost in there, and the cost is going to be a text label. So let's go back here. We're going to put a text label. That text label we're going to bring out front with, z-index of 50 again. And we're going to put this over here. Maybe like that. We're going to change our font to the same font as before. Whatever you want it to be. Don't have to follow me. And we're going to, where is it? Scale that font. Yeah. We're going to change the label to transparent, or the background to transparent. And let's change the text color to white. Okay. And now we have this, which will be coins, right? And we'll fill that in, so this will never be blank. So we don't need to make it clear like we did the pets. And so that is it for the I guess graphical design part of our janky little GUI here. And now we get on to scripting.